Hey, everybody, welcome to Mind Your Health podcast. Today, we're going to be talking all about why your posture is so important for your gut health. Did you know that poor posture can negatively impact your gut health? According to a recent study by Harvard Medical School, we have a posture problem here in the world, really, that has a major health implications. While bad posture can cause musculoskeletal issues like neck, back, and joint pain and injury, it can also affect your gut in the following ways. Number one, it can affect your incontinence. Poor posture worsens stress incontinence. So, if you have a tendency to leak a little urine when you cough or laugh, you may want to pay attention to your posture. Slouching increases abdominal pressure, which increases the pressure on the bladder. And slouching also weakens that pelvic floor muscles to hold up against pressure. And so when you do a little bit of jogging or when you're coughing or laughing, it's kind of embarrassing sometimes when you leak. And this can be corrected by becoming aware. And just pulling up your pelvic floor, it's much easier when you're sitting up nice and tall. Second is constipation. It's a major issue for many people. Consider your posture when you're on the toilet. Yes, posture on the toilet matters. If you find yourself hunched over with your knees lower than your hips, it can cause constipation. And this is what's happening for most of us. And this position places the anus in a closed position, making it harder for those already suffering from constipation. Constipation really is defined by having a bowel movement less than 3 times a week and having hard, dry stools and excessively hard to move is one of those things that it goes into having constipation. Also, if you feel incomplete after voiding, that's also can be considered constipation. And lastly, this affects a lot of people. Lastly, it can cause heartburn and slow digestion. Because obviously, if you really think about it, poor posture tends to collapse the upper body, which then can trigger heartburn by causing the acid reflux. Because it's essentially when stomach acid squirts back up into the esophagus, and it's a lot more easy when you are hunched over. Okay. Remember, slouching increases that abdominal pressure, which can force the stomach acid in the opposite direction, is why people have that issue. Also, it can also be lack of stomach acid, which is another problem. So rather than going for whatever medication you're taking for acid reflux, you might want to improve your posture and consider if you may actually lack the stomach acid, because that's the case for most people in my experience, those people. And it can have a gut issue for many people because you can't really break down the food the way you're designed to do in your stomach. There is also some evidence that suggests that your transit time in your bowel can be slowed down because of the poor posture. To me, it makes sense mechanically because when you're collapsed in that area where things are supposed to move, if you're hunched over, things get slowed and stagnated. And remember, in the Eastern philosophy, that stagnation in the energy in your bowel, that's what creates the most issues for most people, which ultimately leads to disease systemically. So it's something you want to pay attention to. So the question is, what do you do about it? Well, improve your posture. We all go to yoga thinking that we're improving postures, but I want you to think about every day you're at the computer screen because we're looking at the smartphones. Everything in life is forward and everything is sort of perpetuates that forward posture, hunched over kind of a posture. Look at your kids these days. They all have this issue and it can lead to a really systemic worldwide problem. It's a real problem. And so when you're lounging or working on your computer, make sure to perk up and really draw and pay attention to how tall your spine is. Stay nice and long and make sure you draw the shoulders down, hold up your head up high, keep your spine nice and tall at all times. And practice engaging with your muscles when you're working throughout your day. So it's not just when you go to the yoga classes, when in fact you can be doing this throughout your day. Remember, Think of your body as the one home you must take care of. We want to focus on correcting bad habits and learning new proper posture. This is why I emphasize so much on cultivating self-awareness in my signature program, Gut Healing Transformation, because proper posture is all about muscle memory and it requires self-awareness, which is why we focus on cultivating this self-awareness to improve not only improve posture, but also to improve all aspects of your health. And when you become self-aware of your body and space throughout your day, it opens up opportunities for your body to be physically primed and ready to heal. The ultimate goal is a neutral, upright position, like I mentioned, not flexed too far forward or bent backwards. So I want you to be mindful of your position, body position at all times. A neutral spine is considered the optimal spine position, which is also important when moving your bowels. So when you're going in the bathroom, keep your back straight, okay? But keep your back straight no matter what, especially when you're working on your computer or when you're checking your phone messages or whatever you're doing with your smartphone. It seems so simple, but I believe we're making a big mistake by missing the small things that can make a huge difference. Removing all potential obstacles to health is the name of the game with me. There's so much we can do just by becoming self-aware. So next time you have gut issues, think proper posture, shoulders down and back, spine nice and tall, hold your head up high, and learn to connect your mind to your body through muscle activation. Simple thing that I teach my patients is when you're sitting and working in front of the computer, just really roll your shoulders up and back just to connect with your mind and your body. And just relax, draw the shoulders down and back. So the shoulder blades, if you can think about tucking the right shoulder blade in the left back jean pocket, left shoulder blade into the back right jean pocket, draw the navel to the spine, and almost feel like you're floating your head on top of your spine, on top of your pelvis. Draw the shoulders down and back, open your chest, and then just learn to sit nice and tall. And as you stay seated, maybe even get your arms, interlace your hands behind your back or behind your head, and then draw your elbows forward as you inhale. And then exhale, take your elbows straight back, squeeze that area between your shoulder blades and sit up nice and tall. And practice doing this a couple of times, couple of reps like that will sort of bring blood flow to that area that needs to be contracting, when in fact, when you're mindless about your work, you're hunched over, so focused in your work that you're not really making a connection with your body. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day. You happen to go into a yoga class, because if you don't practice connecting with your body, chances are you're doing those yoga practices or your exercise patterns all wrong with improper posture, which can also lead to perpetual problems with you because it can cause micro injury. And I see this as a physical therapist for over 2 decades. That's the most common thing that I see, and it's becoming a real problem. So always remember, proper posture leads to better gut health, which leads to better optimal health. I hope you enjoyed it. And also don't forget to subscribe to my podcast on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify, wherever we host the podcasts, as well as to follow us on Instagram at Dr. Connie Chung, as well as TikTok. We're putting out a lot more practical knowledge, snippets that you can walk away and apply in your lives every single day to improve